Now, there's really not a mystery that GamerGate is being very much drowned out in a lot of white noise, mainly from the people who try to carry the narrative that it's all about Zoe Quinn and her missteps. There's nothing about the rest of it, there's nothing to see here. They're pushing this agenda extremely hard. I mean, even just as late as yesterday, I saw some fresh article on the Mirror. And whilst that's a shitty website in the best of cases, it still shows how deeply these people have managed to get their claws into even mainstream journalism. But reading around the news yesterday, I came across an article from Sweden, and in Sweden there are currently 87% stupid people going on what the fucking fuck happened in our election, because 13% of the population voted to have an openly racist party to come into the government. We're not talking about some chummy bloke like Nigel Farage and his UKIP. They are by far very, very soft and not as mean. I don't really know how to describe it. There is a big difference between these two parties. This party that became the third largest party in Sweden has these 87% people so baffled. But there is someone that actually defected from the right-wing extremism and has been open about it for quite some time. And last night he published an article in the Swedish media explaining exactly why this has happened. That it is not a mystery. It's very, very easy to see, and it is you, the 87%, that has caused this issue. Now, upon reading through this article, it really struck me that I do understand even more why it became that so many people, it's one of every 8th person in Sweden that did vote for a racist, an openly racist party. But I think to GamerGate, this is also a very, very crucial message that he was carrying through. And I'll be reading through a little bit so that I'll be translating for you guys. I'll keep this in English. And you have to excuse me if I'm being a bit slow to try and get the core of the meaning through of it. But for those of you that thinks this is too long, didn't listen, I'll get to the core of it here. And that is these people at the center of this, or at the left, or wherever you want to have them. So we're talking about Kotaku and all these shitheads that are now doing the damnedest of trying to do damage control and whatnot. The Anita Sarkeesian, the cohorts, every one of them. These people have been driving a narrative that have blamed, they have targeted a specific group and said, all of you guys belonging to this group, you're absolute shitheads, you're fucktards, you're rapists, and you should just shut the fuck up about it, accept it. Because you're the one to tolerate this shit. Because you have so much privileges. So for you, you should just accept it. That's it. You fucking rapist. That's what the message they've been saying. They've been pounding and pounding and pounding this message in on people in the gaming community. And you know what? The most perfect video you can Google that is less than a minute long is Casey Haynes slams bully. I don't think anyone missed that. It was caught on a mobile phone camera. Tiny little shit is punishing this big guy that obviously seems to have a lack of self-confidence. He's in school, he's a little bit fat. He has all these issues going against him, so he's not really feeling confident. And that's an easy target to pick on. Or so this little shit thought. But Casey Haynes had enough and body slammed this piece of shit. Now, the reason I'm saying piece of shit is because both of them got their turn to air their side of the story out to media, and whilst you thought that, okay, he got this punishment, let it be done there. No, you lost all respect and any hope for humanity by hearing this tiny little shithead trying to explain away his behavior. He actually came out even worse. So, do dig into that. I'm gonna go in on this article And if this is the longest you can listen, the core of this article is: you've been pounded at for long enough as a gamer, you've been called shithead, therefore you will start go looking for the other extreme end. Because if you're gonna receive the shit for something, you might as well actually be guilty of it. If you don't get the fun of being guilty of what you're being accused of, then what's the point? So they're causing the monsters themselves. And at the moment, it is paying for them. And before you go in, if you're gonna cut out now, I'm gonna do a more in-depth podcast, YouTube video, what have you, outlining exactly the strategy you should employ when it comes to dealing with these Kotaku, rock, paper, shotgun websites. Because I used to work within this industry to get clickbaits, to get people to come to your website. I will explain exactly where they get their money from and why you should stay away at all and any costs. Let it shrink down to those people that absolutely need to go there to disseminate information to the rest of us. But the rest of you, keep clear. I'll get that video up soon, I hope. It's a little bit more research and a little bit more involved, and I probably have to use some kind of infographics to explain a little bit more the in-depth and the intricacy of how it really works. Anyway, let's head on with this article. And the headline is: Defected right-wing extremist. It is you that create the hate. And it's just an opinion article, but in terms of Sweden and the site has been posted on, it's received a massive amount of upvoting and, well, sharing around. So it begins with: so what I'm supposed to do now? Well, what I'm going to do is to explain for everyone that is so completely ununderstanding and baffled why the Swedish Democrat, that openly racist party, got 13% of the votes in this general election. Why there are other, more extreme parties than these parties that exist. And why people are so upset and angry about political parties like the Feminist Initiative. And this guy's name is Tobias Svan, which is Tobias Swan, if you're gonna try and Google for that in English. He begins with: all this fucking nonsense, and well, fucking has been censored here in this term, but all this fucking nonsense about these Swedish Democrats is making me so freaking tired. I have one thing to admit, and that is that I have a background in these right-wing extremist movement here in Sweden. It's nothing I'm proud of. It is nothing I stand for today, and I have done all my thank yous and goodbye to that side of both my life and all those connections. Some people really know this story very intimately. For others, it might come as a surprise. If it is anyone that because of this decides to dislike or make it as if I am defending the right-wing extremism, you can just go fuck yourself with a steel brush. The Swedish direct translation is more, you can go and crap your pants. It's less colorful in that sense. It continues: what I will do now is to explain to all of you baffled buffoons why SD, the Swedish Democrats, got 13% of the votes, why Swedish National Party exists, and why people are so offended by Feminist Initiative. The white working class is feeling very let down, especially the white male working class. Do you recognize where this is going? We get told every day that we are overprivileged, ungrateful, and we are the root cause of everything evil in the world. People love to talk about outsidership, but white working class is often the one that gets flung shit at the most often, and never gets included in all this outsidership, the poor minorities. We're constantly being called stupid, uneducated, which is such a diseased despise for class system that merely 20 years ago it would have been called fascism by both academics and anyone with half a brain. We're all rapists, or at least we're guilty for the crime because the group we belong to. The white working class gets scared when politicians in Sweden, they name drop one called Mona Sahlin, and she is a right fucktard. Trust me, the worst the British politics could dig up, add the amount of hatred Margaret Thatcher receives, that's the least this idiot deserves. Just to give you an influence of where on the spectrum this piece of turd really sits. And this politician says shit like, if two equally merited people are applying for one job, the one with immigration background, say named Mohammed, is to receive the job. It is in Sweden to be considered as a bonus, as an hireable bonus if you have an ethnic background that differs from the Swedish background. There are many people out of the white working class that feels that they have never done anything bad, but gets told that you're white, you're unemployed, so I need to retranslate it. There sits many people out of the white working class and feel that they've never done anything bad, but get told that you are white and unemployed, so you shall not get a job. You are so privileged. Doesn't matter that you're poor or that you have it bad. People see you like, well, you can get a job. Maybe more often than it actually is for you. So you're supposed to be happy because, hey, the white-skinned people get more jobs. They get a job, they have the easy time. When you get discriminated against, you shall just swallow it. You shall swallow it and be conscious that other people that looks like you might possibly have it well. You shall be thankful that your stupid, low uneducated rapist self has it so fucking good. The sexism and racism that is aimed toward you is of a good nature. You are not allowed to feel bad about this. You're not allowed to feel sick to the back of your throat about this, because you have it so well. At least people that look like you may possibly have it well. The author continues. I was liberal when I started college. I thought the national states was just pure nonsense. I was in the youth against racism, and I didn't see any difference on people. Racism aimed toward me because I was white was the thing that got me moving further and further out on the right wing toward extremism. I felt, fuck this shit. There is no one standing up for me, despite the fact that I am low class, have no money, not getting any help, and there's no one enticing me to go anywhere. I added that in to really make the hard part make sense in this sentence. Everyone else is shoveling me into one group, and I get to take shit for that group. Finally, I forgot that I was human. I forgot that I was an individual. My race was my religion, my white skin, my uniform. Because you made me that way. I'd never put myself in the group white male. I got put there, and when no one else stood up for that group people had put me into and hated me for, I found a few people that actually dared stand up. I found people that gave me value for the group that I had been forced into, instead of just giving me hatred and shame and guilt. I felt for the first time that someone was taking my side when everyone else refused to do so. That's how a right-wing extremist white male was born. That is how he was created. He continues. The white working class may be idiots. We are maybe sensitive. We are maybe a low-educated bunch of idiots. But consider the fact that we do exist. So do try to include us. Because we that are so stupid and so guilty of every fucking thing might need to feel that we are included to not become dangerous. We might need that people are showing us a different road. We might need a little bit of love amongst all that hatred being poured down on us just because we have white skin and happen to have a penis between our legs. That's me putting that in, just to emphasize what is meaning here. It may be that it is the white male group that is completely at fault. But I really do not think so. I really do not know so. But we still have voting privileges, at least for now. And the more you push us away, the harder we will punch back. The philosopher Jeshua, mostly known from the Bible, said at one time in history, "Love the sinner, but hate the sin." I don't think that has been more relevant than this very day. I was voting for the red party known as the Social Democrat in the election. Except for my local council where I voted for the pirate parties. These fucking hippies that thinks that the entire solution to all the world's problem is open borders and free Wi-Fi for everyone. I'm not sure if they got it right, but I'm at least willing to give them the shot. So the next time you meet one of these Swedish Democrats, as in the voting part of them, the people voting for the Swedish Democrat, give a little bit of love and consideration. Show friendship. Give them hatred and moan about their freaking privileges when they have it tough. And I will guarantee you that this party will only get stronger and stronger. The white working class is feeling let down. Take their side also. Give them something else than just social and political outsidership. And you'll see that soon we'll all sit together and sing Kumbaya by the campfire before too long. P.S. I really want to emphasize again that a lot of this that I have written is from a viewpoint that I once had. It's an explanation of how people feel. It doesn't necessarily have to reflect all of reality, nor how I feel today. If it is some dumb motherfucker that hasn't read properly and still call me a Swedish Democrat or a fucking racist, then please kindly fuck off. Kisses to you all, I love you all. Tobias Swan. And when I read this, and some nuances may have been missed in my translation, my reiteration of this very article here for you, it really struck me at the core of how my journey has been from when I was sitting and I was a class leader in World of Warcraft. I was one of the best, if not the best geared mage in Europe for a very, very long time. I had a fairly decent reputation about me, and people liked to hang out and enjoy time with me. There was never any discussion about sexism or anything. I did make a few friends that I still keep in touch with today. These friends have stuck around, except for two that sort of disappeared off in a cloud of dislogic, very much rooted in feminism. And when I started seeing the crap they started spewing out as soon as they had unfriended me on Facebook, it started to become a little bit real. And this was well before Anita Sarkeesian entered the scene. And I felt more and more pushed. And it's like, hang on a minute. I did my best as a guild leader, well, class leader I should say it is, in World of Warcraft to keep the environment open and friendly for everyone. And I can probably call up each and every single one of them, including these feminists that have unfriended me, and ask them, did we really have a culture of sexism within the guild? Where we knew each other, where we could control each other's behavior? And I think that the resounding answer will be completely no. There was nothing like that going on at all. There were shitheads outside of it. There were... Everyone that has played World of Warcraft knows about the Barons, the 4chan of chat channels inside any kind of MMO is referred to the Barons chat. And it was a lot of junk going on, and mostly by teenagers that had learned their first curse words. That's the place it was. It was a bit shit, but you know what? You could just /leave too. That was the channel, that was the main general channel for the Barons back then. You didn't get to hear any of the shit, it was completely away from you, and people wanting to get a hold of you already knew the /W command, which meant whisper straight to you. And back then you didn't have too many people in your block list because there wasn't too many spammers sending around constant messages, hey, you wanna buy 500 gold for 10 euros? That didn't happen so much back then. But from that time moving forward, I've been sitting and playing games, and whilst I've been more older and mature since, I think the games have become softer. There are very few games pushing both creative and visual limits where they can, and where there is nothing wrong in doing so. I can't even think of a game today that have women as scantily clad or scrutinized as in any of these women's magazine, Metropolitan or Vogue or whatever, when they say 5 ways of pleasing your man and all that kind of bullshit. I can't think of a single game for the past decade that can match any of that kind of dehumanized process of women, if I'm gonna use the feminist rhetoric on this. But the shit has been piling on since, and I think it was probably 2 or 3 years ago, somewhere around Anita Sarkeesian entering the scene, where I started feeling that I have to start voicing my opinion. I have to feed something back, because I'm being pushed into a place that I don't like, that I don't want to be. Because I'm not the shithead they try to describe me as. I am white, I'm male, I have a beard, I have never owned a fedora. I value logic above emotions. But I think emotions can be good to have sometimes, but they're useless in any conversation. Even when you're talking about emotions, because what one person feels can never be fully transferred to another person. We don't have that technology yet. I can say I feel sad today and I can get sympathy from you, but I will not get the sadness transferred to you, because you will not feel that sad. I'm saying I'm feeling happy for something today, and you will feel glad for me, but you won't feel my happiness. Emotions do not transfer that way. So that's why I value logic, because logic, calmness and reason is what lets you have a good conversation. It lets you reach a goal. You can figure out a tactic to reach something. And this is where feminism and these... I'm so loath calling Anita Sarkeesian a feminist, because he's really not. C.H. Summers is a feminist. Anita Sarkeesian is not. It's that simple, and if you don't understand it, kindly just fuck off. But these feminists, if it was meant seriously, if feminism was meant seriously, it would have been solved a long time ago. We would not have a need of feminism today if it was ever meant to be taken seriously. And I'm saying, somewhere with Christina Summers, CH Summers, dropped off from being the active voice, whatever she was doing back then. Somewhere where she dropped off and this so-called third wave started, that's where they should have just sat down, gone through the logic, put the shit into the legal system, and be done with it. Done and dusted, we can go home. Because I guarantee you, if we've had to have a manism, or what the fuck you would call a male equivalent of the feminist movement, that equal right for men, I can guarantee you it would have been done, dusted and sold over a coffee break. I think it might just be that it's the genetic difference between men and women. Women like to have a constant struggle, a mind nut, a puzzle to go on and play with. That's why they love games that is toward that area. You have the endless runners, deeply planted on the female side of any research scope when it comes to games. If you have an endless runner, you should target women. If you want to blow shit up and solve something quickly, that's where you will find the boys. I think that applies very much to reality too. They don't want to let go of feminism because it means solving the whatever few problems there might be left, like getting equality for everyone on the planet. That's a thing I can get behind. But feminism aren't really struggling for that. I'm gonna round off my thoughts here, but what I've seen and learned this year alone that feminism is after is to reduce criminal sentences for women because it's tougher on them. I think that is somewhere in Canada, and have a look at someone calling themselves Feminism LOL on YouTube. She's a Canadian men's rights activist. I keep forgetting her name. She can sometimes be quite hilarious, and she's always opening her videos with, oh, it's been 2 minutes and I've still not been raped yet. Apparently that's some kind of stupid feminist in Canada has said some kind of shit about a woman is being raped every 2 minutes or some shit. And she usually ends her clips by telling a rape joke. They're usually quite funny, sometimes a bit tasteless. It's down to the individual to determine what they think about them, but they're jokes nonetheless. And in New Zealand, or might be South Australia, I'm not certain, but it's somewhere New Zealand and expand a little bit out from there. They've decided that, well, this whole shit with rape is so tough on the women, so we're just gonna put all of the shit on the man instead. So all a woman has to do now in that region, and I'm not sure if it actually passed in, but it was at least up for suggestion. All a woman would have to do was point at any random man and say, he raped me. And after that, it would be up to him to prove that it wasn't a rape. First and foremost, maybe have to prove that sex never happened. And how do you do that as a man? We rarely get any of the abrasions that's coming from sex. And I mostly after sex go have a shower. Freshen up a little bit so there wouldn't be any genetic traces on me. Maybe some nail marks? I don't know. I have really no idea how a man would be able to get genetic proof of intimacy happening. The woman will not have to provide any such things. Her word is good enough. That's the shit the feminists were pushing for behind in down there in South Australia, New Zealand, wherever it was. This morning, I saw stupid shit in Sweden on this timeline I have on Facebook about a couple of women needing help to explain that a rape culture exists in Sweden. And I'm just banging my head against the wall. There is no such thing as a rape culture. Sweden, however, is the rape capital of Europe, if not the entire northern hemisphere as per rape per capita. There's a shitload of rape going on. And the feminists have been hiding that behind and saying, oh well, it's not the immigration that is doing this because the most common name amongst rapists currently in prison is Anders. And I'm going, so hang on a minute, you're telling me the most common name amongst rapists is Anders? How about we stop naming people Anders then? Because that's the logic you're using for it. But never mind that, I actually looked in how common the name Anders is in Sweden. And if it is the white male privileged group that would dominate it, if Anders is the most common name in prison, it would just make logic that it would be the most common name in Sweden. But no, it's fourth, with a safe margin both ways. So your fourth popular name, yet you're the most common name amongst rapists sitting in prison in Sweden. Not really sure what they want to do with that logic. Anyway, my name is Jim. Subscribe, like, leave feedback, give me comments, give me thoughts. Let me know what you thought of this story here, and if you have any feedbacks on it. If that's how you feel, please share this with other gamers. Hashtag this video with GamerGate if you feel so inclined to share it, and I thank you very much for doing so. Until next time, which I hope will be the video with the explanation as to why and what you need to do to be strategically smart when it comes to these shit-stirring websites and these journalists. Until next time, peace out.